While some countries excel when it comes to power, and others offer adventure, the U.S. News Best Countries Rankings is an assessment of everything that shapes a country, from its quality of life to its economic potential. The rankings, developed in partnership with BAV Group and the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, measure global perceptions of the world's largest economies, gathering perceptions of 78 nations worldwide. These are the top 7 best countries. 7. Iceland. There was something almost metaphorical about this year's eruption of the Geldingadalur volcano on Iceland's Reykjanes Peninsula. That red-hot lava, much like the rest of us, was ready to burst forth after a long time stuck inside. In the lava's case, 782 years. Those returning to Iceland after the initial volcanic frenzy died down will find that Reykjavik is a shockingly creative city, home to big thinkers like visual artist and luxury fragrance brand founder Andrea Mock. This fall, the capital finally welcomed a hotel worthy of its chic reputation, the Reykjavik Edition, and while it would make a great home base for a long weekend, the government is hoping to reverse over-tourism trends by having visitors stick around for a while and slow down. In 2020, as other destinations cut back tourism budgets, Iceland increased theirs by 40%, with plans to improve infrastructure at Instagram-famous spots like Stullagil Canyon. And, in a bid to alleviate crowds on the tourist-clogged Ring Road, they've opened 2 new circuits, the 590-mile Westfords Way and the 155-mile Diamond Circle. If you're inspired, you can take advantage of their new visa for international remote workers, which allows Americans to stay and work for up to 6 months. Number 6. Italy. Last year's first-place finisher was one of the earliest hit by the coronavirus, meaning that many of us could only experience La Dolce Vita vicariously through Stanley Tucci's new CNN travelogue, Luca Guadagnino's HBO miniseries We Are Who We Are, Pixar's Luca, and iPhone videos of lockdown Italians singing from their balconies. Consider them all a preview of what you'll find when you return, as a host of new openings, events, and designations will draw visitors from the boot's top to its toe, and beyond. This year, UNESCO added the porticos of Bologna and Padua's 14th-century frescoes to its World Heritage Sites list, while Palermo's stunningly restored Villa Igia is bringing the glitterati back to Sicily's oft-overlooked biggest city. It's just one of many brand-new hotels cropping up across Italy, including another Sicilian stunner carved out of a 14th-century Dominican convent and a reimagined 1,000-year-old castello in Umbria. Meanwhile, just off Naples, tiny Procida is emerging from the shadow of its attention-grabbing siblings in the Bay of Naples as the Italian capital of culture for 2022, the first time an island has ever been granted the title. Number 5. Sri Lanka. This South Asian nation packs a wallop into a teardrop-shaped island that's only slightly larger than the state of West Virginia. Think high-elevation tea plantations that are eye-vibratingly green, national parks where sloth bears and endangered elephants roam free, and friendly surf towns that, if you squint, might remind you of Costa Rica or Nicaragua some 10 years ago. And then there's the capital city of Colombo, where you can shop for local spices, fly kites along the waterfront, or even charter a yacht. As Sri Lanka has worked in recent years to secure its spot as a global tourism contender, it has faced quite a few challenges, from the 2019 Easter Sunday bombings to the pandemic, and it's looking to regain the trust of visitors with its trademark hospitality and good nature, not to mention an ever-expanding roster of new hotels and resorts. Number 4. Morocco. For travelers from the West, Morocco has always been a gateway not only to the African continent but to the Arab world as a whole. It's easy to romanticize the centuries-old appeal of its riads, its thrumming marketplaces, and its maze-like medinas, but don't ignore its equally vibrant 21st-century culture. These days, creatives of all stripes, including boutique hoteliers, jewelry designers, textile makers, and visual artists, are drawing on traditional motifs as they look toward the future, with Marrakesh and Tangier emerging as hot spots for design lovers. The Musée Yves Saint Laurent Marrakesh, which debuted in 2017, has become a pilgrimage site for fashionistas, and the city now ranks among the most important contemporary art hubs in Africa, thanks to buzzy new institutions like the Museum of Contemporary African Art Al Maden and the experimental Comptoir de Mines. Number 3. Japan. How much do our readers love Japan? Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto took the top 3 slots in our best big cities in the world list. Last year, the capital was poised to welcome the world for its Summer Olympics, complete with a new national stadium, designed by Kengo Kuma and inspired by Edo period temples. But it, of course, didn't go as planned. When you eventually return, you'll still find the incredible restaurants, the ultra-relaxing onsens, the Shinto temples, the cherry blossoms, and the impeccably clean and efficient high-speed trains. But there's always something new popping up in this whiz-bang nation of the future. A buzzy gin scene? Sure, a hilltop castle from 1599 where you can book overnight stays? Certainly. And now there are fantastic excuses to venture far out to the country's extreme north and south. Among this year's class of new UNESCO World Heritage designees are the Jaman prehistoric sites in the north and a chain of islands in the archipelago's southwestern stretches that are entirely uninhabited by humans and filled with endangered species. Number 2, New Zealand. New Zealand has always been celebrated for its adventurous spirit. After all, Kiwis invented bungee jumping. They spell it bungee, canyon swinging, and zorbing, or, as you might know it, careening down a hillside in a transparent plastic ball. But last year, the country took a different tack, trading in thrills for caution, as it enacted some of the strictest lockdown measures on the planet. The gamble paid off, with New Zealand recording only 28 COVID-related deaths since January 2020. And while we can't begrudge a pandemic strategy that worked, we still miss our favorite natural playground. As you await the country's grand reopening, at least you can pass the time binge-watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy, diving into the filmography of Native Son and Oscar winner Taika Waititi, or sipping its famous Sauvignon Blancs and Pinot Noirs. Number 1, Portugal. It's not difficult to see why our readers love Portugal, which has spent the past decade transforming from a budget-minded underdog destination to a major player that can rival the likes of Spain and Italy. From the start, and even as it suffered under a 40-year authoritarian regime and a flailing economy, Portugal was brimming with delights that bordered on sensory overload. The intricate blue and white patterns of its traditional azulejo tiles, the intoxicating aroma of oven-fresh pastéis de nata, the mournful chords of live fado music, the bracing chill of a crisp vinho verde, or the nectary sweetness of a port. With its jaunty yellow trams and hilltop São Jorge Castle, Lisbon is an easy-to-adore starting point for first-timers, but an increasing number of direct flights to Porto from the United States are inviting travelers to explore the second city's contemporary cultural scene, including the newly opened World of Wine district. And then, Portugal rewards repeat visitors with a choose-your-own adventure that might include the terraced hillsides of the Douro Valley, the underrated wineries of the Alentejo region, the surfer havens of the Algarve, and even the Hawaii-like volcanic landscapes of the Azores. The video has come to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot for us to continue bringing this type of content here. Until the next video.